Hi everybody, it's Miss Lita. I have two projects for you today. This is a video specifically for my students at the field school, but it's really for anybody and any age. I'm giving you projects that are really good for preschool, kindergarten for the first project, and the second project is for really first grade and up, even adults. So every day, I'm assuming a lot of you are going for a walk, or if not every day, a lot more than usual. So when you go for a walk, I want you to find a stick. Bring it home, save them up. After about 3 or 4 days of walking and maybe 7 sticks or something, then have your art class. First thing you'll do is just paint them a solid color. Make sure they're all different. It's going to be very fun to see all the different colors together. You could use these for a stick bouquet, just decoration, or if you're planting a garden, these will make really great markers in your garden. I have a couple of funny ideas. I want you to look at this one. This stick looks like a little 3-headed monster, happy 3-headed monster. Here's one that has some clouds on it and a sun. And I want to give you a little tip about making polka dots. This one has a lot of polka dots on it. It's really hard to make polka dots with a paintbrush. So here's a little trick for making nice round polka dots. Use a skewer. A skewer is something that you would cook meat on. Let me just show you this. Dip it in the paint and just kind of roll it and press it. And it makes a nice round polka dot. So these are some ideas. Maybe after they're all dry, you could put the date on them. These are very special sticks because you can remember what you were going through when you made them. Okay, now, next project is for older kids and even adults. I don't want to send you out to the store to buy canvases, art supplies, a lot of expensive things. A lot of us need to be staying home right now. So, assuming that not everybody has gesso for canvas, but you might have some white paint in your basement. Maybe you did a house project, home improvement, whatever. And I bet you have pizza boxes and cereal boxes. So what I'd like you to do is just give that box a coat of paint. Maybe save them up for a few days and do a bunch all at once. This happens to be a pizza box, so you can get 2 really nice pieces out of it. And this will make a really good painting surface. This project can be done in several days. Think of it as several art classes. We are going to do a project called A Tree of Life. And I'm going to teach you about painting in the negative spaces. All right, so the first step is to pick out about 3 or 4 different paint colors. I'm going to do all warm colors. So I've got a little yellow, hot pink, and orange. If you don't have paint at home, these are just the basics that you should try to have. Get your primary colors, white, black, maybe aqua, and a good purple. Sometimes it's hard to make a really good purple. Maybe even a bright green. These are all about $1 each, so it's not a big investment. All right, I'm gonna make a crazy background. I'm not going to think too hard about it. I'm not going to clean my brush in between. Just going to jump in. This step is really just all about getting paint on the surface. A lot of this will end up getting covered up in our next step. I even have a little bit of copper here. Now, while the paint is still wet, try this. It's called Sgraffito. You take the back of your brush or a pencil, and just make a lot of little lines. Like stripes. Maybe even some flower shapes. leaf shapes. Just gotta go crazy with it. Okay, we're gonna let that dry and we'll be right back. Okay, so this is almost dry, but I wanted to show you something that you could do before it's totally dry. And it's just a dripping technique. I've dipped my paintbrush in a little bit of white paint with water. I'm just adding some drops. And I'm letting the drops move around. And they're also dragging the paint with them. It's not quite dry yet. So it just makes a little interest. Something else you could do at this stage is some little splashes. Water down some paint that is nice and bright. Just tap your brush. You could do this with a toothbrush too. You can flick the bristles. Make sure you have your table well covered, or do this outside on a sunny day because it's very messy. And I'm sure your parents don't want you to have paint all over the dining room table. Woo! All right, this time we're gonna let that one dry. Now while that one's drying, I have one that I started over here. Put a few white splashes on that one. And let's get started on that tree of life. Okay, I'm gonna use a Sharpie. And I'm going to go a little off center, not totally in the middle. And draw just a very simple tree. When you draw with a Sharpie on something that's painted, it needs to be really dry. You could do the first part of it one day and come back another day, so you're absolutely certain it's really, really dry. You could do this with black paint, but I think it's a little easier to control a Sharpie than it is a paintbrush. All right, now we're going to make some giant leaves. This is where the painting and the negative space will begin. First thing I'm going to do is just do a very loose painting around the tree. This is not totally solid paint. It's somewhat opaque because I want a little of that background to show. You could use any color. You could use light blue like a sky. I'm using white because I would like to do a lot of contrast. Now you could do a little of that sgraffito technique too, just to make the background interesting. Okay, now I'm going to get a smaller brush and I'm going to paint some really, really big leaves on the branches. It's okay that the branches are disappearing. We'll bring those back later. Part of the reason I'm doing giant leaves is because I want as much of the background to show as possible. Okay, that's it for today's class. The next video is going to show all the details. We'll be filling in some of these spaces in between the leaves, and we'll do a lot of details on top of that. All right, that's it for today. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.